inside of us are all characters. I think we're all capable of all behavior. So one of the pleasures of playing a character is to take on a different point of view, to take on different thoughts, take on different habits, and which by its very nature challenges yours, your identity, but also plays around with certain kind of societal moral judgments. I think it's more interesting to take on a different set of thinking and believe in that.
We got 2 men need attention here. Lace up your extra ammo and frags.
Every project I approach differently because your job is always different. How you function in the context of the movie, what your role is, what you have to bring to it. But the one thing that's fairly consistent is I find myself, if there's any through line in my choices, it has a lot to do with the director, because that defines the project. And I'm usually interested in movies that have a personal stake, and I often find that's more the case with a director, a writer-director, for example, that has a very particular vision than a person who enjoys applying their craft in a kind of career situation.
You telling me one guy came in here and killed 8 men with 8 extremely well-aimed shots in just a few seconds, no way.
You can't play whether you're a good guy or bad guy. You can play your actions. Something else takes over. You become lost in the action, and you aren't blocked by your conditioning or your decisions. I like that very much. Because I also think there's a wisdom into the body that's true. And, just the way in our modern age, the way we receive information and how we deal with each other, there's a lot of thinking involved and a lot of second guessing. So to do something pure, you can access the emotionality and the wakefulness of life much easier.
Thanks a lot for not picking me.
All performing, I think, is always finding the right balance of control and abandon, particularly in the theater. If you just go, pure experience is really impossible. So you have to accept that somehow. And also when you're performing, if you just kind of create this awareness, this deep consciousness, it's no good for the audience, it's no good for the piece. You lose contact with the context. So you're always talking out of 2 sides of your mouth. It's schizophrenic, I think, in performing, and you do have to develop this double concentration, the ability to hold the form, but then also rebel against it or be free of it at the same time.
Let Neptune strike ye dead, Winslow!
So much of who I am as a performer came from working at the Worcester Group for many years, because we had a very, I like to call it, task-oriented approach, because it was a theater that didn't really deal with illusion and didn't really deal with naturalism so much. The technicians worked as actors, the actors worked as technicians. You could see outside the frame all the time. So I think I'm very trained to find the pleasure in doing simple things and trying to do them with a certain kind of grace and a certain kind of attention that makes them special.
So many good things all happening for you. All for you, Norman.
The thing that is most important to me, probably above anything else in performing, and that is the quality of being there. The amount of attention and the receptivity, the flexibility, openness, awareness. Those are all kind of buzzwords that you can talk about when you talk about yoga. But as far as an asana practice, it's a good, concrete, very tangible way to approach dealing with this body that you're in and who's driving the car. There's many things to talk about as far as yoga, but in a very practical way without getting into too personal things. It's a place that I go every day to have a level of concentration. It's a place where you can work out an understanding or a familiarity with what your body-mind relationship is, where your mind goes, what its tendencies are, where your breath gets constricted. All these things are great training for performing.
You're beautiful.
Sometimes I think, well, this isn't a novel idea, but you know, who we are is always changing, and the idea that we have a fixed personality is really an illusion. I mean, it's about the rising and falling of things, and that's one of the things that I like about performing is you can enter these worlds and kind of imagine things outside of your experience and outside of your impulse. And when you do that, you learn things and it opens you up. And I think one of the things that's fun about being an actor and is useful about being an actor is when you go through those experiences, you can take an audience through those experiences with you. Not by showing them, but by doing them, by doing these things that they can watch and they can be with you.